Good morning, everybody. My voice is a little bit froggy this morning. I've been here since Sunday in Las Vegas, NAB, mostly covering Final Cut Pro stuff. I don't think anybody else is covering Final Cut Pro stuff as much as I am. That's what I'm here for, Final Cut Pro stuff. I think you can hear me okay. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Should be. It's showing registering on my end, so it should be fine. So as a wrap up for today, I have other things that when I get back to the East Coast, I'll be playing more clips. I have hours and hours and hours of different kind of video clips that I've accumulated. But we're just going to have a little bit of fun. Let me see something here. I met this joker outside yesterday when I went to get some half and half and some bottled water for my coffee and for drinking. He tagged me and they had a whole group of superheroes out there. This is the one shot that I liked specifically. So they had Batman and Joker and Captain America and a bunch of other stuff. So Daniel says, sounds good. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you very much. So I want to thank specifically some people. I want to thank the people who have supported me on buymeacoffee.com. Everybody, $5, $10, 1 coffee, 2 coffees, 3 coffees, 10 coffees. I appreciate everybody who supported me there. And that's important. That's nice. The work that I do, somebody appreciates it. And I also want to, let me pull this up. I also want to specifically thank Digital Anarchy, Jim over there at Digital Anarchy, who sponsored my trip to NAB. I definitely want to give a shout out to Digital Anarchy. They make the transcriptive plugin, and they also the Flickr free plugin and Beauty Box. Those are the three main ones. Flickr free and Beauty Box both are available on Final Cut Pro 10, and transcriptive is Premiere only at this point. We visited him yesterday. As a matter of fact, we're going to play some clips from different people today. That's what we're going to be doing once we get some more people. I'm just getting started here. Like I said, I'll be back at the East Coast by tomorrow, by later this evening, and I'll start. I'm going to take a little break. It's a lot of work running around NAB. And one of the things I want to address in today's show, because people have been asking about it, is this Apple certified training that Future Media Concepts is going to be starting in May. Now, people have asked whether it was just Future Media, if Apple was involved, and a lot of other questions. Well, they're having a session today. Future Media Concepts is, if you're at NAB, it's like an 8-hour session. It's like an exam prep session, 8 hours of Final Cut Pro tips and tricks and stuff, and also preparing you for the exam. It starts early this morning, so check that out if you'd like to. That's if you're at NAB. I don't know if they're going to record it or not. Probably not. It's probably just for the attendees of NAB if you're here. So, what do we want to do first? You have any questions? Go ahead and shout them out. Here's my friend, of course, the Joker. Let me turn him off. I'm just going to play some random clips here. This is not random, specific. This is the show floor yesterday.
I saw you guys here. I'm like, I know those guys. Yeah. No, where are you based at? San Jose. I'm not right. Is he on the show?
Just a little random clip from the show floor. Now we're going to play. I'm going to play clips. This is going to be a clips show. This was where, let me see, here's Black Magic Tuesday from yesterday. Nope, that's not there. Wait a minute. Let me go back to the video tab. Let me pull this up. Black Magic, of course, had the biggest booth.
Have an artist come in and just work on their shot, and you can continue editing and you can obviously get some additional help, whether it's a colorist, a VFX artist, or elsewise. Another aspect of that is actually getting a piece of media to them that they need.
There we go. That was the Black Magic booth from yesterday. Tuesday, today is Wednesday. I'm going to be headed out to the airport sometime this morning. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it back to the show floor or not. It depends on my timing. I have to get my stuff together for the airport, so I'm not sure. I got to get that done first, and then I'll see if I have time to head up back over there to the show floor. Maybe, maybe not. This is the experimental zone. This is where they had the Future Media Concepts had the training. Not the training. This is where they had the information sessions about Final Cut Pro. This is the first time that Final Cut Pro has been on the show floor since 2007. The presence was on the show floor. Zone 3, here we go.
Not like this. Not like this.
So what they did was they gave informational sessions about Final Cut Pro. They did some tips and tricks. But it's nice for Final Cut to actually be on the show floor. Here's a little close-up. For those of you that could make it to NAB, this is what it looks like. Very nice presentation. It was Future Media Concepts and also in cooperation with Apple and also with NAB. Because a lot of you obviously didn't make it to NAB, so that's what it looks like. That's it. So there's been questions about what the training is going to look like if Apple is involved. This is Apple certified training that they've done in the past, but they stopped with 10.4. They stopped it in 10.4 with a different vendor. Now they resumed it with 10.6 with Future Media Concepts. This is brand new courses, different ideas. They've updated things to include social media. So there's 3 tiers. There's social media, there's a middle tier, then there's post-production. Each tier gets harder and harder. The more questions and a higher passing grade. Social media, the middle tier, and then post-production. Each tier is harder and harder, and it requires more knowledge, a combination of real-world knowledge and Final Cut Pro specific knowledge, mostly about Final Cut Pro, but you have to know some things about compressor in the post-production one. You got to know some things about motion in the post-production one, so each tier is different. Now, some of the questions I can answer. It is Apple official. It is officially Apple certified training. It will be linked from the Apple site once it goes live. There's no link available yet because it's not live. The training's not live till May. So that is what the training is about, Future Media Concepts training, but it absolutely is official Apple Final Cut Pro certified training. Okay, that's not in doubt anymore. If you're familiar with the plans, the way Final Cut training went in the past, you got to pay for a class, and you got to pay for the exam, and then you get a certification if you pass the exam. That's the same as this time, so I don't think it's any different. Loving all these videos. Thank you for giving us a window in NAB. I really hope to attend someday. When I used to see, before I started going to NAB, when I used to see NAB was happening, or IBC, or the Creative Summit, I don't know what's going on. I have nobody provided a window into events. These are live or near live. Nobody did that, so that's what I'm doing. That's what I intend to do. I'm not covering every vendor. I'm not going to interview every vendor. That's not what I'm here for. Mostly behind the scenes kind of stuff. That's what I do. But I did interview a few people. So let's listen to an interview with Sam Messman right now. We had these are just short clips today because I have to get ready to get out of here. So this is my interview with Sam. Do you think directing Tim Cook's direction towards that Final Cut Pro team is going to be effective? Is there going to...
I don't think Tim has much to contribute to the Final Cut team.
Right, that's what I was wondering. So
Tim is not Steve Jobs.
Exactly.
Steve Jobs would come in and look at stuff and be like, what are they going to do?
Exactly.
He has different strengths.
Right.
You want Tim Cook designing the infrastructure.
Well, Steve Jobs
and
hired him
profitability. Yeah, no,
for that reason.
There's nothing wrong
Right.
with Tim Cook. He just doesn't see the world the way Steve Jobs did.
But he makes great iPhones. This iPhone 13 Pro Max
There's
is
nothing
phenomenal.
wrong with these products. If you want someone in charge of your next iteration, that's Tim Cook.
That's Tim Cook. So that was Sam's comment about Tim Cook, and I agree with that. Tim Cook's he's really doing a great job leading Apple, absolutely, but I don't know how involved he is with the Final Cut Pro team. I don't think he's that involved. Not like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was more hands-on with Final Cut. He was involved with the original transition from 7 to 10. He was there at that point, and he was... One thing he did during that transition, if you watch the documentary Off the Tracks about Final Cut Pro 10, is when he found out that Final Cut Pro 7 disappeared for sale the same day that Final Cut Pro 10 appeared in the App Store, he made them put it back. He did not know that it happened. He made them put Final Cut Pro 7 back on sale. That's one of the things he did. It's in the documentary if you want to cover that. If you have any questions about the training, I'm going to try to interview Nick, the guy that's in charge over Future Media, when I get back home. Once it goes live, he'll explain things further, maybe do a few examples on how it's going to work. But it is Apple official training. I've heard people say they weren't sure if it's Apple. I never doubted it was Apple official training. I mean, it said in cooperation with Apple right from the beginning. But anyway, I'm a trainer. I'm an Apple certified trainer for Final Cut Pro 10. And I've been a trainer since Final Cut Pro version 5. I took the Train the Trainer classes in New York at Apple HQ in New York back, it's been a long time ago. But I started with Final Cut Pro 5, not 10.5, but Final Cut Pro 5. And then I got trained, I certified for 5, 6, 7, and then when 10 came out, I got involved with certification for 10, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, and 10.4, and that's when Apple stopped the official training. So it's good, this is a good step that Apple is involved with bringing certified training back. I questioned when they stopped at 10.4, I said, it doesn't make sense if they're going forward with 10.5 and the future versions that they have no training, no official training. It didn't make any sense to me at that point. So I said that I think there's going to be training. So here we are at 10.6. And there indeed is a more modern version. There's 3 different tiers. There's going to be Logic Pro certification. There's going to be Motion Pro, Motion certification. And I'm not sure what they're doing with compressor. I think there might be even a compressor exam that Apple is involved. So this is Apple being proactive with the Pro apps. They've reinstituted these Final Cut training classes in cooperation with Future Media. Future Media taught the old certification class because I taught for Future Media. I taught in Washington, D.C. for Tom Wilson, and I taught a Final Cut Pro class in Chicago. So I taught these classes for Future Media. This is nothing new to them, but they've rewritten the entire program. And Apple is being proactive with bringing pro certifications back. They're not just doing it willy-nilly, they're being proactive. Now, the question you may have is whether you need a certification. Well, that depends on the individuals. Everybody doesn't need one, but it certainly doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt your resume to have that on your resume if you're going for video editing job and Final Cut is your main editing, NLE. It doesn't hurt to have the certification at all. It helps. It helps. When I used to hire editors down at the National Archives in Washington, D.C., I was the post-production supervisor. If I had 2 equally qualified candidates, if they were equally qualified, but one had a certification and one didn't, I would hire the one with the certification. It's just one of the factors you consider. It doesn't mean the certification, I have trainer certifications, so this is not the same as end user. It helped me get the job at the National Archives. It absolutely helped that they brought it up during the interview. I said, yeah, I have all these certifications. I studied every year. I get the certifications. It's one step more than somebody who doesn't have a certification. Do you need it to get a job? No. Does everybody need certification? Probably not. I don't think everybody does. You have to make up your own mind if you want it. But if you want it, Apple and Future Media Concepts have a new program coming out in May. So that's what that is. Let's check some other. I'm trying to find the right clip. Well, let me do this one. This is Jim Tierney from Digital Anarchy. He sponsored my trip. He sponsored Final Cut TV, Final Cut Radio to come to NAB.
A swimsuit video that they use Beauty Box on. You would not think that, you know, those women needed Beauty Box, but you know, when you're shooting video at, you know, high resolutions, you know, under video lights and stuff like that, there's just a lot of skin detail that pops out. And you know, if you didn't have a makeup artist on set, you know, you're going to see a lot more detail than you really want to see.
So that was Jim Tierney over there at Digital Anarchy. We interviewed him. We had a live interview with him yesterday. I just wanted to play that one clip, and I appreciate Digital Anarchy's sponsorship of Final Cut TV, Final Cut Radio, coming to NAB and doing these events. You know, there's 20 different people that are out there interviewing this person and going to that booth and going to this. That's not what I'm here for. I focus in on Final Cut Pro specific stuff. Jim has the plugins that work in Final Cut Pro. He has Beauty Box, and he has Transcriptive just works in Premiere right now, and he has Flickr Free. That also works in Final Cut. We're going to have Jim back on Final Cut TV once I get back to the East Coast, and I want him to explain one of these, the Beauty Box, how the Beauty Box plugin works with the new tracking feature in Final Cut Pro, because I found that fascinating. All right, let's see what else we have. I was filming as people were coming in. It just, you see people coming up the steps. This was like 2 stories up. I think it was 2 flights of stairs, or maybe it was 1.5, I'm not sure. Beautiful, beautiful venue for Dan Berube and Katie. They're the main sponsors of this. This is very, very cool. And then while we're there, I'll play another one. Here's just a Super Meat 360. This is when it got a little darker. Yeah, it's a little 360, the Super Meat, beautiful venue. It's sold out, but it didn't hold, it held hundreds of people. I'm not sure how many, I don't know, 300 or 400 maybe overall throughout the night. For great venue, perfect weather. It wasn't windy, it wasn't raining, so it was perfect conditions for Dan Berube and Katie, who put on the Super Meet this year, which is fantastic. Had a great time there. All right, let's see what else we have. What other clips do we have? Here's a little clip over at the Adobe booth. That's Michael Cioni, and they're going to talk about the Filmic Pro interaction, the interoperability with Creative Cloud, direct uploading files from your phone direct through Frame.io, something like that.
How many of you have a phone? That's a tough question, isn't it? All right. You know, Filmic Pro was conceived of back in 2010 when our founder and CEO, Neil Barrow, was taken aback by the interesting possibilities that the iPhone 4 presented. It had an amazing, for the time, backside illuminated sensor. It could record full HD, and he recognized something. He recognized that video would become the lingua franca of a new generation, and just 10 years since.
So that was a little bit from the Adobe booth. I visited there several times. I ran into Patrick Southern there. We talked to each other for a little bit, and that was Michael Cioni. He's also been on the radio show. We've had him on before, and good old Patrick, we had him on many times. So that was that. If you have any other questions, I'm going to be on for a few more minutes, and I'm going to head out. I'm going to finish cleaning up, organizing my trip back to the East Coast today. I might have time to go back to the NAB show floor, but I'm not sure, because I got to get my stuff together first, get 100% ready, so when I come back I got to leave the hotel by 4 o'clock and get to the airport. That'll be fine. It's not that long a flight. I have direct flights only, so it is not that long a flight. So let's see if we have anything else. I'm not sure if we have any more videos or not. Nope, that's all the clips I have for today. So Final Cut TV, don't forget to subscribe over there at YouTube. You're watching either at YouTube or on Facebook now. Look for Richard Taylor TV. That's what you want to look for. Both of those places. Also on Twitter. We're live on Twitter there as well. And what else do we have? Twitch TV, I have a channel over there, Richard Taylor TV, but I just don't go over there very often. I don't post on Instagram either. I think I post mostly my cat videos and cat pictures on Instagram. It's not Final Cut Pro related. So anyway, everybody, I want to thank everybody who watches these live videos and people who support me over there at buymeacoffee.com/Richard Taylor. You can go over there and buy me a coffee. $5, $10, 1 coffee, 2 coffees. If you enjoy these videos, you can go over there and do that. But also that'll be ongoing for, if you listen to Final Cut Pro Radio, the podcast that I've been doing for like 7 years now. Straight through, no breaks, no interruptions. I don't take vacations. I don't take off for 6 months or 18 months and then come back. Straight through, bring together for the podcast the latest Final Cut Pro news. This stuff is always Final Cut Pro centric for the most part. There are a few times I'll cover other post-production issues or whatever. But anyway, everyone, I think I'm going to head out. If you have any other questions, go ahead and put them in the comments right now, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. This NAB, I would say, is probably, 50 to 60% of what 2019 was. Now, the exhibitors, I think the exhibitors hit 1,000 exhibitors this year, and I think they had 1,600 in 2019. So it's over half, over 50%. The attendees, I think, if I recall correctly, in 2019 were about 90,000. And I think they're probably expecting 40 to 50,000 this time. So about half, maybe a little bit more. But listen, after 3 years of not getting together in person, this has been phenomenal. This has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm really glad that this finally came through, that we can have this. I'm looking forward to an in-person Creative Summit, Final Cut Pro Creative Summit in the fall. The date hasn't been announced yet, but it does say on the website it'll be in November. That's the month that they're going to have it from now going forward, at least for the time being. So that'll be very cool. I'm going to pull this up real quick. These are just some shots that I pulled up from various events. You can see in the top left-hand corner at Steve Martin. I was filming him, and he pulled out his camera, filming me, filming him. In the center there is Jim Tierney from Digital Anarchy, the sponsor who sponsored us coming to NAB. Thank you, Jim. To the right-hand side top are two Dylans. Both of these guys have YouTube channel, and they do a lot of Final Cut Pro stuff, tutorials and stuff like that. They're both very, very popular, Dylan and Dylan. As a matter of fact, the one is the Final Cut Bro. The one is the Final Cut Bro, the one on the right with blonde hair, and the one on the left is Dylan John Dickerson. On YouTube, just look for Dylan John, and they both are Final Cut Pros, and they were very, very cordial, and everybody's had a good time. This is them at the Super Meet. The bottom left corner is the experimental zone. This is where the Final Cut Pro was actually on the show floor for the first time since 2007. And the middle is me and my friend, outside, that I met when I was going to the Walgreens. He caught me, and of course they wanted money. I gave him 20 bucks, whatever. There was a bunch of them surrounded you, and they picked me up and everything. It was Batman and the Joker and Captain America and somebody else. So that was a picture that I grabbed of that. And then, of course, on the bottom right is our friend, longtime friend, Sam Messman. Now he's with OWC. LumaForge was acquired by OWC. So I have about a 40-minute interview with Sam that I'll be cutting it together later. But I'm not going to do it when I get home the first day. I'm going to relax the rest of this week. I won't. I'll get up tomorrow morning, have coffee. I might do some more clips and do some live streams from the studio, because this is bare bones. I have a MacBook Pro right here. I have no outside controllers. I have no outside audio. I do have my Rode Wireless Go, which is right here. You can see it. It's the magnet. I don't like those transmitters on the outside of the shirt. I think they look ridiculous. But so I just clip it on the inside, and then it's a magnet. It's right here. Let me see if you can see. It's right inside there. And the microphone's facing up, obviously, and the magnet holds it in place, and it's fine. It doesn't look too bad. So this is what I use for a lot of my live interviews. If I go back to NAB show floor this morning, I'll be using my Shure MV88 mic plugged into the Lightning port. That's my favorite Lightning port direct plug-in. It's a very simple setup. But I'm going to get out of here, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for supporting and watching the shows. These videos will be up on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. They'll be up. You can watch them as you wake up. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to be leaving Las Vegas. I might do a short clip from the Las Vegas airport, because I have a couple hours once I check in with nothing to do. But I appreciate the support. Don't forget that you can buy me a coffee. You can show your support over there, buymeacoffee.com/RichardTaylorTV. $5, $10. I listen, everyone who's bought me a coffee, I appreciate each and every one of you. It's nice. I've had plenty of coffee here to keep me awake. I've had 2 cups already this morning, and I'm going to be heading out. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you once I get back on the East Coast. Right?